Welcome back to my channel Bal Vigyan Bharti. This is vector problem solving session and we will start from problem number 19. It says a mountain climbing expedition, a mountain climbing expedition establishes a base camp and two intermediate camps A and B. Okay, camp A is 200 meter east of and east and 3200 meter above the base camp, okay. Camp B is 8400 meter east and 1700 meter higher than camp A. Determine the displacement between base camp and camp B. Let me read it out again. A mountain climbing expedition establishes a base camp and two intermediate camps A and B. Camp A is 11,200 meter east. So you know the direction north, east, west, south to 11,200 meter east and 3,200 meter above the base camp. Okay, camp B is this much east and 1700 meter higher than the camp A with respect to camp A. So there must be a base camp. Let's say this is base camp B, base camp. Let's say this is taken as C. I'm taking as base camp C. So the first intermediate camp A is at, there may be a shifting of let's say this is a point from where I'm starting. This is the cross. This is camp C. So from there, that A camp is, let's say 11,200 this eastwise, then 3,200 above the ground, means above the base camp. Base camp, let's say there may be some coordinate. From that coordinate it is 11,200 3200 east and 3200. So this is the position of camp A. The above camp, the camp B is 8400 meter east. So camp B somewhere east of this, that's why it is given as off and above. So that means off means if A camp is said to be this meter east of base camp, so from base camp the distance of 11,200 is taken as towards east from the base camp C. Now case of B, this is 8,400 meter east of and from this meter higher than the camp. So this B is taken reference from the base camp A. So this is off 8,400 meter further east. Okay, so this is 11,200. This is east 8,400 east further. Okay, then after it has moved 1700 meter with respect to A. So this will further move to something 1700 meter. So now final, this is the final position. So if I add it, there may be or may not be passing through the points. I am not drawing it by in scale, so it seems to be passing, but it may not be. If you draw in scale, then you will understand. But ultimately, this is the displacement from here to AFI joint. You have to calculate. So what is the case? So this can be simplified. As you know that the vectors of displacement in same direction can be added and make in one vector. So 1100 to 11,200 and 8,400, if I add, it will give you a symbol, one single vector. You can represent with the single vector that is equal to 11, and this add together it will give you 19,600. Okay, and if we add the vertical heights, that will give you also a one single vector, that is this is 24900. Now this will be easier to calculate. Now this will be the same result. If I do calculate individually and find the ultimate resultant, it will be the same as this one. Okay, as I have already I think explained in during your theory class of kinematics, I suppose, the displacement. I already shown this kind of problem. There you just may refer, but this will be like that. It will be easier. You can go with part by part, or in one shot you can add it to, because these vectors are in collinear, you can say parallel vectors, may be of same vectors that can be added together, because the angle between the parallel vectors and the collinear vectors is same, and as because these are following the same direction. Okay, so we can add this together. It is not reverse, it is all of east direction, and the vertically it is going to the north, so we can add. So ultimately your two vectors is like that. Now what is your this will be under root of 19600 whole square plus 4900 whole square. So 100 can be 100 here, square can be taken out 100, and this ultimately be 996 square plus 49 square. Okay, so this can be calculated. I'm not going to calculate this for you. You can calculate it, and ultimately you can find the value of it. Okay, so this will be the answer of this. So what is the ask of this? Determine the displacement between the base camp and B. So base camp is this and the B is here. So ultimately this will be the displacement. Okay, so the next problem says the number 20. Number 20. if the sum of two vectors, if the sum of two unit vectors is 1, then what is the difference between them? So let's say two unit vectors x and y. So if it is following the parallelogram and with the theta angle between, so that the resultant will be, or let's say this will be x square plus y square plus 2xy cos of theta. So r is equal to 1, and as because these are unit vectors, the magnitude of y and x will be 1. So you can put this value also. So ultimately this is 1 plus 2 into cos theta. So cos of theta is equal to ultimately minus half, that is equal to cos of 120. Very recently we have solved this value. So theta is equal to 120. Now you know the angle of, so what is the difference between that? So difference, the vector between difference will be, let's say the new r1 will be x square plus y square plus 2xy, and here this will be subtraction, so that means it will come as this one, because 180 minus theta will come, so that will change into this. So this is 1 square plus 1 square minus 2, and cos theta you know minus half, so this will minus plus 2 cancelled out, ultimately it will be 1 plus 1 plus 1, so that means root 3. So the difference will be root 3. Now one thing you just see it, the sum is how much? 1, but difference is root 3. So there may be possibilities two vectors, if it is subtracted will get more resultant. Thank you. So this will give you more resultant. Okay, so moving to next. What is the net force? What is the net force on the particle if it is simultaneously acted upon by two forces (4n and 3n). So what is the net force on the particle? If a net force is acting, two forces, but here no direction has been given. One is 3n, one is 4n. So you don't know the directions. So in that case, we know the resultant can vary for any two force acting on that, in between what? The difference, the sum of difference to the sum. This is the maximum variation possible for those forces. This problem is very easy, but still this could be in between this range. So that means 1 to 7. In between, that resultant may vary. So your answer should be, depending on the situation, that may vary, but if the any particular angle is not given between the forces, that may assume to be acted in any direction, so the maximum and minimum value will be your answer. The range, whatever be possible for those forces, or if it has acted upon a body, this will be your answer. So it should not be a single answer, rather than the range of the value. So that's why I'll just bring it the problem, so that confusion may arise by seeing the question, that you may think that angle is not given. If it is not given, so what is the range of that? Then the minimum value could be the difference between the forces, and the sum of the forces is the maximum value. That will be your answer. Okay. So thank you for now. In the next video, I'll move on to problem number 22, and further I will explain. Thank you.